Our story begins with God calling Abram, later renamed Abraham, to leave everything behind, his home, his country, and his extended family, and follow him to a land that God would show him. God made an amazing promise to Abram. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. Without hesitation, Abram obeys, taking his wife Sarai and his nephew Lot with him. This step of faith sets the stage for God's plan to unfold. As Abram and Lot's flocks and herds grew, tensions arose between their herders. To keep the peace, Abram graciously allowed Lot to choose first where to settle. Lot picked the lush plains of Jordan, while Abram remained in Canaan. Later, Lot was captured in a local conflict, and Abram stepped up as a brave and faithful leader, rescuing Lot and defeating the captors with God's help. Abram had doubts about God's promise of descendants, since he and Sarai were childless. But God reassured him, "Look up at the sky and count the stars, if you can. So shall your offspring be." In a powerful covenant ceremony, God symbolized his promise with a blazing torch passing between the pieces of a sacrifice. This was God's way of sealing his unbreakable promise. Sarai, struggling with infertility, gave her servant Hagar to Abram as a wife to bear a child on her behalf. Hagar became pregnant with Ishmael, but tension grew between Sarai and Hagar. Hagar fled into the wilderness, but God met her there, promising that her son Ishmael would also father a great nation. This shows God's care even in the midst of human conflict. God renewed his promise to Abram, giving him and Sarai new names: Abraham, father of many nations, and Sarah, princess. As a sign of the covenant, God introduced circumcision and promised that Sarah would miraculously bear a son, Isaac. 3 heavenly visitors came to Abraham, confirming that Sarah would have a son within a year. However, they also revealed God's plan to destroy the wicked cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. Abraham pleaded with God to spare the cities if even 10 righteous people could be found. Sadly, the cities were destroyed due to their great sin, but God showed mercy by rescuing Lot and his family. At long last, Sarah gave birth to Isaac in her old age, fulfilling God's promise. But tensions flared when Sarah saw Ishmael mocking Isaac. She urged Abraham to send Hagar and Ishmael away. Though difficult, Abraham obeyed, and God protected them, assuring Abraham that Ishmael would also become a great nation. In one of the most dramatic moments in Scripture, God tested Abraham's faith by asking him to sacrifice Isaac. With unwavering trust, Abraham prepared to obey. At the last moment, an angel stopped him, and God provided a ram as a substitute sacrifice. This powerful event foreshadows God's ultimate sacrifice, Jesus Christ. When Sarah passed away, Abraham mourned deeply. He purchased a field with a cave at Machpelah as a burial site, securing a foothold in the promised land for his family. Abraham sent his servant on a mission to find a wife for Isaac. The servant prayed for guidance, and God led him to Rebekah, who willingly left her family to marry Isaac. Their story is a beautiful reminder of God's providence. Abraham lived to the age of 175, leaving a legacy of faith and obedience. He was buried beside Sarah in the cave at Machpelah. His story reminds us that God's promises endure, and his plan continues through Isaac and future generations.